Hello, welcome to Flory Models. I'm Flory to our special live broadcast. This is the first time we've done a live one. New show. Obviously, it's a bit of a special one tonight because it's for the Snap charity. And you guys have been totally amazing over the last few weeks since I first sort of mentioned this. You know, and I had it in my mind I'd like to sort of raise about £1,000, or perhaps we get a few kits donated and everything else. But as you can see behind us, you guys have really gone beyond everything I could have ever thought for. You guys are just so generous. Not only this, but there's other bits and pieces we're going to talk about a little bit later on and everything. But you know, the quality of the kits that's donated as well is amazing, because let's face it, we all can offload the junk out of your stash if you wanted to get rid of it. But some of these kits really are the top of the range ones. So you have been absolutely fantastic. Currently the bidding is up to, I don't know if it's going to change throughout this tonight's show, but at the moment we've got Peter Allen, he's kindly donated on auction 1, which we'll talk about in a moment. That's 1,700, and then we've got Jurgen. He's donated 675, or bid £675, shall I say, for auction 2. Auction 2, we're just going to cover again, but first of all, I want to go through what it is. I can't remember everybody's names donated. We had so much coming in. At some points, I had 2 or 3 different items turning up a day. So forgive me for not mentioning everybody by name on this as we go right the way through. But basically, auction 1, starting just down here, random order. We've got the Hobby Boss 148 scale EF111 Raven. We've got the Hella 148 Jaguar. Tamiya 148 F16. We've got a Westland Whirlwind Trumpeter 148 kit. We've got the Evolution airbrush, brand new. Come all the way from America, that one. We've got the great book, The History of the Hawker Hunter. This brand new book, by the way. Everything else. We've got Accurate Miniatures Dauntless, there's 148 as well. We've got the Tamiya P47. We've got the ME262, both in 148 scale. We've got the Nashorn in 135th scale. We've got the German personnel car, 135th. We've got the Lotus 25, that's the Tamiya kit, one of the Airfix member club kits. We'll talk about that one in a moment, the Hasegawa Teardrop Typhoon, 148 scale. Okay, we've got the Vought Corsair, it's the motorised kit as well, which is Tamiya. We've got the TA 152. We reviewed these kits, a lot of these ones during our new shows. 148 scale. The 132nd New Tool Spitfire from Revell. Also from Revell, we've got the Wessex 148 scale. We've got an Italeri Avenger 148, a Meng ME410 in 148, and the Devastator. Also, we've got the caricature done to whoever you want it to. That's donated by one of the guys. Fantastic job. I've had lots of fun with that one. And everything else, so that will be done for you. Plus the box, which will go for auction 2 as well, which is down here, which I'm just going to roughly run through. Full set of washes, as you can imagine. Full set of sanders of everything we do. Plus the fact I've got things in here like the Model Master Series complete. So you get the sealers, the entire range of all the buffable paints and everything else that goes with it. And then all the stuff that I tend to use day to day, as you guys know it. So we've got things like surface primers, we've got airbrush cleaner, we've got the perfect plastic putty, we've got mask oils, we've got flat varnishes and all the different types of varnishes and gloss and the resin and the polyurethane, everything you can imagine that I use. Plus we've got all the Tamiya tapes, we got the lead wires and anything else I can find around here. And quite frankly, everything else on the list. Both sets to get those, and obviously the full lifetime membership as well. So, you know, quite a lot going on there. Auction 2, which we had to break it up. It got so big that it was going to be a massive job to do all of this. So what we decided to do with some of the guys who actually donated this lot for the second lot is that we thought we'd break it up to have auction 2. So in auction 2, we've got the Hasegawa 148 scale Phantom. We've got the Revell 132nd Sea Lynx. We've got, what have we got? 132nd Saberjet, which is the Italeri kit. Revell IDS Tornado, that's obviously the brand new kit. Which we're working on at the moment, which we'll talk about shortly. AFE Club, we've got a Churchill there, 135th. We've got an F6, the Edar Profi Pack 1. We have the Harrier book, beautiful book about Harrier there. We've also got a selection of the Lock-On series, which are the great walk-around guides, everything else like that. We've also got, whoops, that's the certificate of authenticity. Very kind donation by Steve. one of the team members, Steve Suckler, and he's done, I hate getting these things out, but it's an absolutely beautiful signed limited edition print. And obviously it does come with the certificate and authentication and everything else like that. Plus there's some other prints back there, squadron runs, and from some of the guys that donated as well. Then we've got a Airfix 1/72 Hawk. We've got a 1/48 scale, what's that, Mosquito, that's the fighter variant. We've got the 48 scale A36 Apache, which obviously we reviewed, the Atari one. The fantastic Spitfire Mark 9. This is the Royal Class one, so you get the nice engraved glass chalice type thing in there with that. We got a 1/32 Tornado, the Revel kit, the ECR one, and also we got the amazing F4E Phantom 1/32 Tamiya, which, as you know, is a beautiful kit and goes for a hell of a lot of money these days as well. And that's auction 2. So, as you said, if anybody wants to bid during the actual course of this, then you can probably for the next sort of around about half an hour, or how long I waffle on now for, you can get up on it. Remember, it's all for a great cause. It's all going to go to Snap for you guys that don't know about Snap, and this is why I'm going to try and be clever. We actually have, if I just do my screen capture, this is where I need like staff that, you know, cut to different angles and things like that. Okay, where are we? That's it. So hopefully you're now seeing this. No, sorry guys. See, we're going wrong already. Look, going off to Snap. Okay, so you've got the Snap one. Obviously, you can see the kids there. Everything else like that. As you know, if you don't know about it, you should do by now. Why haven't you been watching over the last couple of weeks? This is for the Snap charity. Obviously, it's a private charity. This isn't government funded and all the rest of it. This is literally a group of parents and friends and things like that come together to help these out and to give these kids an amazing time on holiday and other things throughout the year. As you can imagine, times are tough at the moment and it's all sort of going a little bit pear-shaped, shall we say, with funding and that. So obviously the coffers are getting very low, hence whilst we've come along and tried to do something for them and everything else. So, but you can see this on the site as you're seeing it, hopefully as I'm seeing it here. Just pop down to Snap and we've got a thing on here which will take you to the auction type thing. It's got the full list of everything that's on there and what the bidding's up to at the moment, hopefully as you can see it in here. So if it's all worked very nicely, you've just seen all of that. So if we just hopefully go back to me, there we go, should be back to me. So, right. Obviously, this is a little bit different to a normal news show because obviously this is not going to be the quality that we hoped for. Also, there was a couple of things I was hoping to do which aren't going to happen tonight. One of them, I was going to show you a video during this, but the thing is, because it does it very strangely, the quality is really naff, and that's talking about airbrush spitting. A couple of you guys mentioned in the forum this week that you're having trouble with your airbrush, and that literally when you're spraying with your airbrush, it does that thing of stopping and starting and things. So what I've done is it's about a 20-minute standalone video, which I'm going to make live at the end of this, actually on the site, which is going to go through all the things it can be. And to be honest, it can only be two things. One is it's contaminated paint getting into your system, or it is a dirty air nozzle on the end where it gets to the needle and everything else. I've covered it really in depth and I've shown you actually it happening, which was quite a handy thing because there was nothing wrong with this airbrush. I did the thing about cleaning it to show you, and then it did it live for me. So it's quite a nice one where I can actually show you all about it as it goes through. So that will be up at the end of this. I'll make it live. So if we go on for however long we're going to be tonight, we can go in just literally like that. Things I've been working on this week mainly is this live streaming business, trying to work out exactly how it's going to work, how it's going to interact, how you guys are going to be able to interact with it and everything else like this. This is a sort of a standalone sort of news show. We're doing it as a bit of a special, so we can sort of do the auction sort of live and things like that. At the end of the day, though, what I'm hoping this will turn into is a system where when we have things like geek meets, airbrushing courses, things like that, we can run a live feed from it. Now, I've been playing with it this week, as a lot of you know, especially the other night. I spent a couple of hours online whilst we were decaling and doing behind here. And the idea with it was quite well because you guys could then enter in talk to me live, and we could have video, basically chats and things like that with loads of us, and just in the text box on the side of this as well. So it does work very, very well. But it's not going to be a news show standalone, because quite frankly the quality, and I can see it over there as it's streaming to you, isn't the best. You know, I was hoping that we might be able to do crystal clear, but obviously the technology isn't quite there just yet. So don't panic, it's not going to sort of, you know, be replacing what I do. And at the same time, to be honest, I'm recording this on the HD cameras anyway. All right, so hopefully from that point of view, then we can just upload and it replace what you're watching now live, so you can see everything in glorious sort of high def detail that you've become used to. So don't think this is suddenly going to be the new way and every week I'm going to be sat here talking to you guys live and everything else, because it's not. But what I intend us to do is perhaps we might be able to do something on a Saturday. Speaking to some of you guys, obviously the guys in Australia have pointed out to me, if we're going to do it on a Sunday night, you lot are off to work in the morning, and you'll probably have work by the time we start it, being ahead of us. And then we've got the other side of the coin, obviously the guys on the West Coast, especially the US, being sort of 8 hours behind, makes things all a little bit difficult. So what we're thinking maybe is a sort of a hangout type thing on perhaps a Saturday afternoon. So obviously you guys in the US, you'll be up for it, and obviously the Australian guys, it'll be your morning on Sunday, you know, something else like that. So it's just trying to work out the best times to fit you all in, or we'll just, every time we do it, we'll sort of do it on a different time, so everybody gets a sort of bite of the cherry of it. But the idea with it is that either you can watch me as I'm working, and literally, because obviously I don't film every single thing I do, but you can then drop in and say, how are you doing such and such, do you have this problem, I've got a tip for you, try this, whatever you want to do, then obviously we can do that. And then during the Hangouts, if it's something comes up, you know, like a really good question, I'm going to record them all anyway in HD, using all the other cameras and everything I've got at my disposal. So if it's something good, what we can actually do is think, right, that was a brilliant idea, I'll go away, edit it into, you know, something sensible, and then we can put it on the site for the rest of the members all to see, for the ones who weren't there when we did it. Or we can do other things where you can say to me, Phil, look, I'm having a nightmare time, like the airbrushing one I did today, can you talk me through it? Then I can say to you, well, look, meet me, we'll do a hangout at whatever time's convenient for both of us, and I'll talk you through it, you know, and we'll go through something. Or we can say, look, I'm going to do a special tonight on Outlands or something, and then that way you can be there and ask questions actually how I'm doing it, just to make this a lot more sort of interactive and a lot more sort of two-way. Instead of me just preaching to you, you can actually say, hold on, didn't get that, you know, what have you done different there, you know, and so forth and so on. So really that's the idea to this, is to try and do it so, you know, one, everybody gets a little bit of a go at it, but secondly, it's more relevant to what you need. So if you need help on a certain area, then we can do that, and then it can go and be archived, because we've got the new section in the forum, which we'll look at a little bit later on, in the archive system for the live videos. But what I'll do is, as I say, I'll record all these in HD, so they'll come through in HD. So you might not be able to see all the detail as we're doing it here on live stream, but then afterwards you can look at the replay of it and go, ah, right, I get what you mean, I can see it now, and all the rest of it. So that was the idea of it. But as I said, this is all completely alien to me. You'd think sitting in front of a camera, I'd be totally used to it and all the rest of it. Well, there's no pause button here, and I can't do another take, and I can't show it again. So that is the little bit of the trouble, but I do enjoy doing it. It's very nice the other night being interactive. I think we had, you know, about 20 of us at one point in there. We had about sort of 7 to 10 of you were talking to me as well as I was working, and we were talking about horrible decals going on the front of this hind and everything else like that. So it's quite nice being more interactive as we go right the way through. But if you do have any questions when I am working, feel free to post them up and ask about it as I go, because I can answer them as we're doing it. So don't think, you know, just hold back and wait until the end or something else like that. Just shout as I go, and I'll answer them as and when I can. Obviously, I do film for the proper shows. That's when I cut the sound off, because I don't want any feedback or interruptions as I'm doing the real bit to camera for the full HD streams and things like that. So that's the only drawback. But anyway, this week, as I said, it's taken up quite a lot of time trying to sort this video thing out and trying to see what I can get away with and what we can't. So I have spent many an hour trying to fix it all, but we did get on well with the hind. I can't fault this kit at all. It's absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of people have said about, you know, this particular kit, and some people, I don't know, I looked online and some people were sort of bashing it a little bit, but to me it looks like a Hind. It's a cracking kit. It goes together exceptionally well. I've had no fit issues with it whatsoever. The colour scheme, for me, a little bit of a mini review here, but it's the first time I've ever used the ACAM paints. The paint itself, I cannot fault whatsoever. The only thing, make sure you shake it well, because this stuff separates extremely quickly. It is a very nice, a very forgiving paint to work with, but the only thing I found with it is when I've diluted it, to be honest, the only thing I've thinned it with, and I've had amazing results with it, is the Vallejo's new airbrush thinner. A couple of drops of that and it's been fine with. I haven't tried it with X20A, and I haven't tried it with self-leveling thinners or anything else like that yet, but certainly with their stuff it has worked perfectly. It's around about a 60-40 split, so it's 60% thinners to 40% paint. I found to be absolutely fine to work at. Air pressures, it doesn't seem to mind, as we've been speaking about recently. So I've been spraying this at around about sort of 24 to 27 psi. Even doing the camo work, which this is all freehand on this one, just running around doing it all and putting it in. But it went down extremely well. It went straight over Vallejo's primer. It had no sort of washed effect or looked effect. We changed and modulated the color a little bit by adding the lighter shades of these things, which is, this one's a grey, faded grey color, which doesn't look like grey to me. Just to fade round and do some touch-ins and things like that with it, but it went down extremely well. It wasn't a problem at all. You know, the only thing I can say with it is, as I said, occasionally you'd be spraying, you look in your color cup and there's like a dark sort of area on the top, you give it a mix up and blend it all in and it's good to go again. And even when you give these a shake up and then you look at them 2-3 minutes later, you can see they've separated. So just be aware of this. But the nice thing is there's no smell to it whatsoever, which is absolutely fantastic. The only thing is it does give off a little bit of dust. You know, I know airbrushing, you're always going to get dust, but I find some paints are more dusty than others. Tamiya tends to be quite a dusty paint to use. You know, comparing it with things like Vallejo, things like that. But as I say, it went down very well, can't fault it. I know some people have said about it's quite a delicate paint. We deckled it, and I actually never had any problem deckling straight onto it. This didn't have any gloss or any protective coat whatsoever. It was literally straightforward, deckled onto it, and I used micro set and sol to get this to go down, but I don't think it was going to be a problem. It gives a very nice satin finish to your model and everything else like that. So speaking about this one, this is now up at part 8, available for you guys to watch. It went out this afternoon on the site. It's going to get you the, we talk about in here doing primer work, because some of you have had trouble spraying the polyurethane surface primer. This is the Vallejo one. I know some of you guys have had trouble with that, so I show and talk about the finish you get with it. Then we move on to talk about pre-shading, why we pre-shade, the practice of pre-shading and everything else like that going down. And then we do that nice haze blue on the belly and really putting it down. A little bit of modulation with it just to dirty it up and everything else like that. Then we mask it up and we do the camo work. Now the camo work is going to be up on Tuesday, because it's all filmed and edited. It's just that obviously I'll put the parts up throughout the week, and then there'll be another part which will finish this as you see it up to now, which will obviously be up by next Friday. So, but so far so good. But say, first time out of ACAM paints, never, you know, played with them before, touched them before, didn't really read anything up on them, the mixes, and I just did my standard, well, look, we're going to start with 50-50, and we went in with the old airbrush stuff. Thinners, put it in there, mixed it up, went in a little bit too thick, so thinned it a little bit more, and then had no trouble with it at all. So that was the thing with that. It worked really, really well. Very, very happy with it. The other thing we've done the rotor head. I don't know how well, obviously this is where the camera probably won't do it very well, but we've done all the rotor head detail in there and everything else, so we just got to put the top cap on there, but that's pretty straightforward, plastic card, plastic strut stuff with the wire going through that and everything else in there. So that was pretty straightforward. Because of everything that's gone on this week, to be honest, the Tornado is still right in front of me and is still in primer. But now that one's done, I can move it out of the way, and then come Monday I can get straight on with the Tornado. Going to do it slightly different. This one was all done totally freehand, because when you're going for a more weathered effect and things like that, I wanted to keep it more as a sort of freehand, just to give you a more faded edge, and you can bleach it sort of in a little bit better and things like that, and obviously for further weathering that it's going to get a lot of, to be honest, and everything else like that. Whereas the Tornado is going to be quite a hard edge camo on that. There's quite you know, a solid line on those. It's not like a faded or blended in or bleached in. They're quite hard. So what we're going to use that is the good old-fashioned tack worm system. So if you want to see me do that one, literally just pop along and then we can go through it all with you. And if you say same thing, got any questions, and obviously we can do it on live chat. But it's very straightforward, nice, easy way of doing it. But we'll talk about other different camo patterns and things, but it's going to have the full wraparound camo right the way over it, the tail and everything in the green and the grey. So that sort of classic Cold War type of look to it. But as I said, that'll be pushing through next week, which then hopefully will bring us up to here. And then obviously there'll be at a similar level and we can move forward and everything else. A couple of you asking, I am definitely still doing the HE111 because I had a couple of emails this week. I'm doing the HE111 132nd, and we're going to be doing the FX Typhoon as well. So it's going to be just get everything out of the way, then I can get them both in here because that's two big kits to get on this table. All right, and everything else like that. What else have we had in this week? We had in, speaking of the FX Typhoon and everything else, we have had these guys, which, sorry, there's one thing I've noticed. I should have put the light the other way. Put it at an angle. Hopefully you can see. These are air scale. Now, I did mention it as one of my things on there. I did say that the decals for the instruments were, quite frankly, a bit of a letdown. They're very generic, straightforward. So air scale have jumped right on the ball with this one, and they've brought out a complete set of all the actual dials. Well, you can see that on the back. Okay, I'll do a proper review of all this during the week anyway, but they've done them and they are absolutely spot on, very nice all the way through there. So it's a great way of upgrading it, a very simple job. It's £10, available from Airscale Direct, or I don't know who they're dealing with these days, but you probably get them elsewhere as well. But it's the full set. So the product number is AS24TIFF for tip, I should think, and everything else. But as I said, it's a good upgrade set. I haven't heard of anybody else coming out with anything at the moment. I'm sure they will. There'll be a mass flurry at some point. But up to now, we are pretty quiet on the old Typhoon bits that are coming out for it and everything else. So that one to go. Couple of questions I was spoken about this week. Somebody's asked me about airbrushing, setting it up. Now, I get asked this one a lot as well. As you can imagine, you know, airbrushing, it's one of those things. You can go cheap, let's face it. You can buy a very cheap compressor, you can buy a cheap airbrush, okay, and just limited range of paints and airbrush cleaners and thinners and things like that, and you can do it for well under, probably nowadays, about 80 quid, okay? But the problems you're going to get with it are the airbrush tends to be a little bit lacking, shall we say, and doesn't have some of the nicer features perhaps of some of the ones you see me use. And the compressor will probably be fine, but it may be it's not going to last you exactly a long time. You know, the cheaper ones do tend to burn out. As I said, my compressors I had that Ripmax one, which I used for the best part of 10 years every day, no problem at all. And I've got those other ones you see me do the review. I've got the 610 and now the 620 series from Sparmax. Both of those going strong, no problem at all. But, and this is the thing, it's not cheap. But then you've got to see it as a long-term commitment. If you're going to commit to starting airbrushing and going to learn it, it's one of those things which you don't pick up in a day. You can get the basics within a couple of weeks, and then you sort of develop your skills and, you know, obviously the sort of memory function of your hand about using an airbrush and everything else. But it's something you sort of, you know, going to learn over years and years to come. So if you're seeing it like that, if I said to you that you're going to spend around about £200 gets you everything you're ever going to need. It's going to get you a very good entry airbrush, and it will get you a good compressor, and it will get you airbrush cleaner, thinners, selections of paints, and then all the little tools that go with it, which nobody thinks about at the time. But things like, you'll see them in the video, which I'm put up there, but it's things like the appropriate cleaning tools for it. You can't beat the one that's designed for it. So this one here is for the Harder and Steenbecks. It's the brush, so it's got a little tiny one on the end here which goes into the actual air cap, into the nozzle itself, and the other sides of brushes which go in all the nooks and crannies of an airbrush, and a reamer for cleaning out nozzles and dry paint out of areas. These little tools, if you haven't had them, you don't understand how invaluable they are, because they really are good. They're the type of thing that everybody should have, because the thing you just pick up, quick job, and it's done, and it works, and away you go. But if you've got a cheap airbrush or something else like that, then it's not going to work. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. Perhaps trying to get air caps off, stripping down your airbrush and everything else like that. It's not going to be the easiest thing to try and do. But certainly from the point of view of you've got yourself a good or a better quality airbrush, this is an Evolution, I think around about £90 now. But it will last you forever. This guy here I've now had, it must be about 15 years now. And as I say, although internally it's had new bits and pieces, externally it's still absolutely fantastic. It's a great piece of kit, and as I say, I still use it almost every day. So you can't go wrong, but you can get other things. No, it's not that one, it'll be this one here. This here, as I said, we've done the review on it. It's a great airbrush for starting out. This is the Iwata Neo, you know, and as I say, for the money, it is a complete bargain. Prices vary so wild. It's amazing when you look online, look on eBay, things like that. But something else like that is absolutely fantastic. It's got little touches. The color cup is interchangeable, which some of the bigger airbrushes, more expensive, aren't even that. So it's quite nice to have it. But the end, which I can't get off because I've had gloss going through this, which I can't get off now. So always good. See, we're live on air, as you can see. But the needle's fine. But as I said, something else like that to start out with, absolutely fantastic. Then once you've got the basics down, you're enjoying it, it's working for you, then you can move on with a more expensive airbrush or something else like that. But certainly, you know, it's that thing. Money, you spend your money up front and it's a long-term commitment, okay, but it's going to last you a lifetime, and that's the thing to it, which would be the nice thing. So you can literally just, you know, sit back and relax, because if you don't like it, you can sell it and probably get your money back on it. So certainly, I hope that answers your question, but I say 200 quid will get you a nice setup for everything you need. You could do it cheaper, but you're going to be replacing it within a year or something else like that. So, what else have we got? Okay, other ones. What other interests do I have apart from modelling? Thank you, Jay. Okay, flight simming. That's probably my other one. I love flight simming. I fly DCS online a lot, so I'm under Flory. So it's the same name when I'm flying online. I don't have some, you know, wonderful call sign or something. But yeah, I fly online DCS. I like to fly the A10, but especially the helicopters in that particular sim. So I love to fly the Huey and the MI8 and things like that. So that's that one. Also, I love airsoft as well. So started doing that about, when is that? About 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more. Started doing airsoft, enjoy that. That's get out in the countryside, because obviously all the time I'm stuck behind here, it's you know, not doing the old beer gut much good. So getting out in the countryside and running around, being kids in the woods again, is absolutely fantastic. So if you've never done airsoft, look it up on YouTube and things like that, because it's a lot of fun. Boys playing with toys at the end of the day and everything else like that. So what else are we talking about today? What else have we got to cover? Just thinking of this. Oh, one thing I do have to mention whilst I talk about it is that Ross Armstrong has been kind enough, and as I say, he's been a member of ours for years now. He works for FedEx, and he's picking up the bill for everything we're doing here. So he's going to be paying the shipping costs, because I know a lot of you are saying it's going to cost a fortune to ship all of that. And well, hopefully it's all going to go out to some nice places around the world, and he's picking up all the costs for doing it. So big thank you to you, mate. That's absolutely fantastic. So other little questions I've got. Some people have asked this week, what are these in my tool chest? These are the chisels. I had 2 people ask about these. These are just the chisels which come, if we can get them out, which are lethally sharp, which I don't use as much as I thought I would. But yeah, that's the little orange boxes, because some of you are thinking, is this a new product or a new type of sanding sponge? No, sorry guys, it's not. It's literally just a one in here. So that's what it is down there. Right, what we're going to do now, if I can get this to work, is have a look around the forum. Okay, so just sort of bear with me half a sec. And as I say, I need a camera person for all of this. Okay, so where are we? Okay, hopefully you can all see the forum now. A couple of little areas obviously is new, thinking obviously of this week. First of all is the live streaming area, which is up here. So I'm not going to go into it, because otherwise you're going to see it. Okay, and I'm going to get big feedback and everything else. But in here is where the live streaming that is on air at the moment, which is normally members only, is what you'll see, is going to be in there. Okay, now down here we have the archive. Okay, and this is Thursday night's one where we were talking about it. What it is, it starts up in that other one, and then I'll move it down to here. So that's the thing with that one. So literally that was in here, and you can just do it, and it's being here. And you can see, and this was live feed of me actually decaling, and as you can see down the bottom here, these are the guys we were talking to, and we had a chat bar going down the side as well. And you see, the picture wasn't too good, although you say shouldn't have been on my phone, but that's because you guys were all texting me saying I can see you. Okay, but as I said, it's just be one of those things when I'm got a spare 5 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, and I'm not filming or anything, I'm just going to put the cam on, and you can watch, join in, ask me questions as we go. So that is in that area there. Okay, so as I say, this is the new live stream area and everything else like that. Okay, so moving down, as I said we do the other week, so hopefully this will work quite nicely. We have, forum's getting so big these days. Buddy builds going on at the moment, as I say. We've got the F-15 one going down there, we've got the firefighting rescue one down there, the F-111 buddy build, the Hawks, the Phantoms, and we've got the actual Typhoons, the FX-124 scale Typhoons. That's all going on down there at the moment. The Operation Overlord, which we've got 97 entries into this one. So if we just go in here, we'll just pick out a few finished ones. So there we go, lovely Black Widow there. Sorry guys, who's done this one? This is Grant, so lovely job on that, some very nice weathering. Say working with black. Or dark green, is that? This is the dark green one. As I say, it's never easy working with sort of mono colours. But some nice chipping effects on that one. And there's those nice D-Day markings on the underside, just to break it all up. Very nicely done. So we just pick out a couple more at random. So we got, seems we're talking Typhoons. This was actually a really, really nice one. Sorry if I go to the top. Okay, so this Martin's one. Beautiful photography on this one. Done a lovely photo of this one. And as I say, when this is scaled up as well to be the big ones, you know, let's hope it's as good. But let's say it's a nice kit, but it's beautifully built, beautifully weathered, and stunning photographs as well. It's one of those kits that's worked really well on the black. Okay, so that's really, really nice. So well done to him. Let's just have a bit of a thing around here. All right, something a little bit different, as we say, because we like different things on here. So Richard's done this one. 42, am I getting this right? I don't want to speak. Yeah, MG42 on the stand. Beautiful model. Nicely done. Again, it's that thing. It's small, but it's beautifully weathered. Okay, it's got that nice look of grime and everything else going on with it. Fantastic. Really, really nice on that. Some nice detail. Love the metalwork. And it just goes to show you don't need to do big models on dioramas and things like that. You can pick a subject and do it, and that's what's really nice with that one. Okay, so if we just have a look at some of the other ones that are going on at the moment. So we've got, this is Dave's post-apocalyptic, see, you can't even do it live on air, Vehicle Mayhem. So you've got, I should mention, 23rd November on that one, you've got 26 on this one. We've got 2 reveals done in here already. I haven't looked at these yet, so again, nice touch. This is where you can just let your imagination run riot, and that's what I love about this one. So look, it's got a lozenge top on it, right the way through. Very nicely done. Nice effects on that with the rusting and the streaking, but it just works well with everything on that. That just says it all, really. So well done, Michael. That's a lovely job on that. And we'll look at the other one. This is the 2CV. It's Fleming's one. Again, brilliant idea. It's taking an idea and just let your imagination run right with it. And that's what we said about this one. So what me and Dave were saying is that there is no rules to it. You can literally just go and let yourself just run wild with this one. Again, beautifully done. Nice mottling. And again, it's one of those things, you just raid your spares box. Because who would have put Goodyear tyres on a 2CV? Fantastic. As I say, really nice one, that one. Okay, so what else have we got down here? We've got the Tiger one going at the moment. It's 26 in here. So we've got a couple down here. This is Mark Phillips one. Very nice. Fantastic. Very striking scheme. Again, it's that weathering. Really, really nice. Going right the way through it. And it's what I say about weathering. Weathering shouldn't be in an area, it should be all over. And I know it sounds like a bit of a stupid thing to say, but you get some weathering patterns are stronger in one area than other. Everything should balance out. So it's nice how it's really grimy down the bottom here. And as you know, it's sort of smudged and everything down, but it's quite crisp up here where it doesn't get dragged and kicked around quite as much. And it's that nice balance of weathering. So yeah, really, really nice. Looks like Meccano, or is it just my eyes? Again, another clever person watches his mouth who can do figure painting. People ask, is there anything I don't like doing about modelling? It's not that I don't like doing it, but I just can't paint figures. I am useless at it. It's something I need to spend some time and learn about and sort of go through and, you know, sort of perfect some techniques. Green, lovely job on this one. It's never easy painting over Zermit and to make it look authentic and in scale, because it either looks wrong. If you put too much of a wash on it, it looks just too heavy, you know, and if it hasn't got any in there at all, it looks too fresh. So nice techniques with that. Love this skirt effect. Again, it's that thing of being blurred in, where it's been scraped, washed over, all those things. Yet other areas are still quite sharp up around the turret. And obviously decaling on these is a nightmare. Very nice job. Again, lovely photos. And I know it's one of those things, and I do mention it quite a bit, but if guys, take a bit of a note here. We've got some great tutorials now where the lads have put up about how they do photography using backgrounds and different camera settings and things like that. So if you could, you know, just have a look at it, because when you put them on a background, your images look better, your model will look better. You know, when you're taking a photo on your cutting mat and all the rest of it, whilst it's lovely, it just doesn't sort of give it that clout that these guys do. Okay, so we'll have one more. We'll just have John's off the bottom. Again, tiger. It's not the tiger I was thinking. So this is the main one, which is the, we reviewed recently the exact one. So here you go, tiger in name, so it's close enough. So it'd be interesting to know the differences between the two apart from the price. Because as I say, I reviewed the exact one a couple of weeks ago now, and that looked an absolutely stunning kit, but looking at that one, it looks just as good. Fantastic job. Again, it's that thing we're talking about with photographs. It's not on a background and with fancy lighting. It's taken outside, but it's on a nice base with a backdrop, and it just makes it work. Okay. And all right. Okay. So if we just go back again, so that's the tigers. Okay. So we've only got one finished so far. 11 entries into this one. This is the Great War SIG that's going on at the moment. So we've got one of the tanks. This is Peter Field's tank. We just scoop to the top. Beautifully done. Love this weathering. Very nice bleach down, everything else like that with the track system going over it. And they're not the best of kits. I know it's a horrible thing to say because they're not bad, but you know, it just shows you can make a stunning model out of any kit. You don't have to spend a fortune on a kit like the new Tamiya ones and all things like that. You can take, you know, some other manufacturers and just run with the idea. But it's very nice how this bolts and this giant riveting system is really stood out but not overdone. So I like that a lot. That's a lot of dry brushing involved in that. But this texture of the actual streaking coming down using filters and washes, and I should think probably pigments as well, really doing it nice. But again, it's showing it off. It's on a nice blue background. We can see exactly what's going on with it. So well done on that one. Sorry, that was Peter's one, wasn't it? Well done, Peter. It was a lovely job on that. Okay, so that leaves us with, that's it. That's the ones going on at the moment. So just quick recap on that. So you've actually got 23rd of November on the Overlord. That's the group build one that's running at the moment. So obviously there is medals and things. I will say we've got new things coming. So there'll be new things as prizes for that one. We've got the Apocalyptic Mayhem one, got 26th of October. The Tiger one, 14th of September. So you've only really got just over 2 weeks on that one. So as soon as we've got 26 on the run, let's have a push on that, shall we, guys? Get that one done. 16th of November, obviously on that. But I thought we'd have more entries in that one. So I'm surprised we haven't. The work in progress. So we got various things. There's a lot of tanks in there. Oh, there is, I was going to say, the Wings Brigade I thought would be in there. So let's get some of them pushed through and finished, guys, because I'd love to do a fantastic video at the end of that one, if we could. So anyway, what have we got? So that is about it, just in there. So hopefully you're back to me again, if we've done this correctly. If we're still viewing, I'll tell you what, that's worrying. So we've got 239 viewers watching me live. No pressure and anything else. Again, back to this. Fantastic job, everybody. Everybody's been amazing on this one. And I know some of you have mentioned about perhaps we could do this as an annual thing and everything else. Well, obviously, I'll leave that open to you guys, because in the past we've done other charities, because I don't want it just to seem like it's a hot charity and pushing through and everything else like that, because it's not. At the end of the day, you guys, if you've got a foundation or a charity you'd like to, you think we could help out with, then by all means, please let us know. I'm just going to check my phone to make sure we haven't had anything else apart from any other bids and things. Just double check it. So no, I think we're all pretty standard as we are. As I say, it has to end somewhere, so I'm going to call it at this point because I don't think anyone else is. So congratulations to Peter Allen. You get number one, auction one, which is all of that one. I'll be in touch with all the details about it. Obviously we've got to ship it, but it's bank holiday weekend here in the UK. So we've got to sort that one out. And then Jürgen, I'm going to try and pronounce it, Sokia, is it? Sorry, Jürgen, if I've obliterated his name. And I was speaking to you on Thursday night as well. Congratulations, because you've got number 2 there, so that's fantastic. Big thank you to everybody who's done checks, that have sent checks. Remember, if you still want to do it, if you can make them out to SNAP, as in S-N-A-P, okay, and then literally, if you send them to me here at my place, so you know where it is, you've got the contact me address and everything else in there. So I'm not answering that, Adam. So anyway, as I say, we've got some great stuff, great prizes. A massive thank you to absolutely everybody who's gone on there. I'm just going to have to turn that off. So we have raised a total of £2,625 for SNAP. Thank you so much to everybody for taking part in it. Thank you for the guys who have won it. Thank you to everybody who's donated something along the lines of this one and everything else like that. Thank you for sticking with me with trying to sort all this out, especially with the live streaming and all the bits and pieces that go with it, because it has been quite a bit of a headache and trying to do all of this. As I say, my first proper live broadcast, and I don't think it went too bad. We've managed to stretch it to 45 minutes, so that's a lot of sweating on my case and going very red and everything else. So until next week, when we be back to normal, we're going to basically just cut off now. But what there will be, give me around about 10 minutes. I'm going to have a drink, and then when I will put up the video, which is quite a good one, about spitting, stalling airbrushing, where it stops and starts and drive you mad. It is quite a good video because it happens to me, and it's one of those really rare occasions when you try and replicate something and it does work. So it stops for me, and I talk about all the different ways and how I fix it, and you can see it all. So as I said, give me about 10 minutes to do this. If you're watching this afterwards and it's crystal clear, that's because it's the other version. Because as I said, by the morning I'm going to upload the full HD version, which is the camera, it's right behind this camera, has been recorded in HD, so that will be up as well. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling and take care.